Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, back in the logs, where the next weapon apparently is there. I wasn't expecting to see you here, considering all that has been happening about XIV of late. Still, if you have a mind to assist us, we'd like to share the latest developments in Werlyt. And as luck would have it, here comes the ideal person to explain the situation. Ah, thanks, I take it from here. I'm glad to see you look so well, Serenia. Menago? Yes, it certainly has. I haven't seen you around Valga's Reach much lately. Anyone would think you're trying to avoid me. But as much as I'd love to stand around chatting, I'm afraid I've got some serious business to discuss. Following the liberation of Turncliffe, it seems the people of Werlyt also have their hearts set on freeing themselves from the grip of the Empire. Like-minded citizens have rallied under the banner of the Werlyt revolutionaries, and they aim to depose the 7th Legion that currently occupies the city. Their ranks include many former conscripts, and between them, they possess no small amount of combat experience. The only thing they lack is someone to lead them. After much consideration, they've decided to turn to none other than Gaius Baelsar. Of course, many would balk at the thought of turning to a former enemy, and many did. But desperate times call for desperate measures. His reputation as a legato speaks for itself, and as most Alamegans will attest, he was a far more reasonable and pragmatic leader than his predecessor, the Mad King Theodoric, or his successor Xenos, for that matter. But most importantly, he was the one who led the invasion of Werlyt in the first place, so who better than him to take it back? After accepting the offer, he requested the delivery of additional arms and provisions from the Alamegan resistance. We've got our hands full dealing with a Telepheroi, so do the rest of our allies in Eorzea, but we do what we can. While my comrades see to the preparations, I've been assigned to meet with him in person. I was wondering, could you accompany me to Turncliffe? Thanks, Serenia. To be perfectly honest, coming face to face with a Black Wolf is a rather daunting prospect, even if he has supposedly turned over a new leaf. But I'm sure having you there will make a world of a difference. I believe you're acquainted with our escort, yes? Let him know when you're ready to get going. Alright. Still wondering why they put that escort at the other side of the camp. Never tip to Turncliffe, yes. Gaius Baelsar, I presume? I've come bearing the Alamegan Resistance official reply to your request for aid. I see. You have my thanks. Does it mean we can finally make our move? With the assistance of the Alamegans, we will soon have sufficient arms at our disposal to stand a chance at victory. But lest we forget, the 7th Legion has been conserving its strength thus far, and we must be prepared for severe casualties should its full might be brought to bear. If our lives must be the price of freedom, we will pay it willingly. Let me be clear, we Alamegans have not forgotten that it was you who led the invasion of our homeland. The blood of our fallen loved ones is on your hands. Even so, the people of Werlyt chose you to lead the revolution, and we will honor that decision. I only hope they will not come to regret it. As do I. Should I be found unworthy of their trust, I shall submit to their judgment, and whatever that may entail. Forgive me, but might we return to the task at hand? First, I would like to discuss the transportation of supplies from Alamigo. This way, if you please. Once again, I prepare to lead an army into Werlyt. The irony is not lost on me. It was a cruel twist of fate that these people, so desperate from years of oppression, should turn to their conqueror for salvation. For most of my life, I believed that only the Empire possessed the strength and wisdom to lead mankind, that only through great sacrifice could civilization hope to thrive. And so I led the conquest of Eorzea, forcing the doctrine of Garlemald upon the ignorant and uncivilized. In every territory I sought out those with a potential for greatness, without regard for one's birth or circumstance, that they may serve the Empire. But there are those, such as Valen, who see being born as Guardian a virtue in itself, one above all others. To think that a monster such as him should be granted the position of legatus and everything that entails, it makes my blood boil. Varlan brings shame upon our homeland and makes a mock of the ideals it once stood for. By my hand he shall pay for his foul crimes. We are running out of time, Gaius. We have to go after her. There's something I would show you, but not here. Come with me. You must keep this to yourself. I do not want the soldiers to think I'm being distracted by personal matters. This letter was found in her room. Dear father, I'm sorry for leaving without saying goodbye, but the thought of Alphonse suffering alone is more than I can bear. For his sake and for the freedom of Werlyt, I have decided to take matters into my own hands. I know of a way to save them, a way to end it all. I have to seize this chance before it's too late. My mind is set. Please do not try to stop me, father. The days we spent together were the happiest of my life, and no matter what happens, nothing can take that away from me. With all my love, Allie. So she's headed for the 7th Legion stronghold in Werlyt, I'm certain of it. Taking matters into her own hands. She must be planning to take control of one of her weapons. If so, there's no time to waste. We have to mobilize our forces and save Allie and Alphonse. I want nothing more than to save them, but I cannot ask the Werlyt revolutionaries to risk their lives to rescue 2 Imperial soldiers. In any case, if we were to rush into battle without adequate preparations, the 7th Legion would tear our partisan army to shreds. And as capable a warrior as Serenia is, if she were to charge headlong into the heart of the enemy, she would be overwhelmed by sheer numbers. But if we don't do something, Allie and Alphonse are as good as dead. I know, Severa, and so did Allie when she wrote that letter. Returning alive was never part of her plan. Can you hear me? I'm in Werlyt, just outside Custom Collinum. All hells have broken loose. There was an enormous explosion. Through the smoke and flames I saw what appeared to be another weapon. At this rate, the entire... Confounded, we've lost the signal. This must be what Allie spoke of in her letter. A way to end it all. Alphonse and the others were planning this from the beginning. To bring the weapon project to completion and use it to free Werlyt from the Empire, even at the cost of their own lives. If the revolutionaries were to hear that the weapon has been unleashed upon the Imperial headquarters, they would see it as a perfect opportunity to strike. If it's running amok, it may not distinguish between allies and the Imperials. A large force would draw too much attention, but the three of us should be able to get close enough without it noticing us. We'll find a way to save them. I cannot allow it. This is my burden to bear, and I shall bear it alone. Rest assured, I have every intention of making it out alive. Very well. For the time being, I have the revolutionaries stand by and await my signal. An opportunity to reclaim Werlyt may yet present itself, but he must first be allowed to remove the threat of his new weapon. Savera, have Sid ready the G-Warrior. Understood. Once your preparations are complete, let us reconvene outside the hangar. Sometime early at the 7th Legion's Werlyt headquarters. How wonderful it is to see you again, my dear. I was beginning to think that you weren't coming back. In my impatience, I may have vented my frustration on that brother of yours. I do hope you forgive me. Lord Valens, you mentioned before that the previous weapons were merely prototypes used to gather combat data within their cores. Yes, very good. I see you were paying attention after all. Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. The primers they absorbed and the data they accumulated will serve a singular purpose. The completion of my masterpiece, the diamond weapon. But while you and your siblings were away to retrieve the necessary data from the ruby weapon before Gaius and his lackeys arrived, Sapphire and Emerald were handed to the enemy on a silver platter. Those worthless curs failed to meet even my exceedingly low expectations. As detailed in my report, I took it upon myself to infiltrate Gaius Baelsar's band of rebels and reclaim the data. Yes, you have done well, my dear. My engineers have already finished feeding it to the diamond weapon. Then all that remains is for me to assume my role as his pilot and for you to release my brother and the rest of our compatriots, as per our agreement. Of course, a handful of savages is a small price to pay for your remarkable talents. Even though the weapon project's revolutionary technology allows even an untrained pilot to fight with the skill of a veteran soldier, only the truly gifted can draw out the full potential of a synthetic aura sight. In addition to their physical attributes and combat prowess, I require unwavering loyalty before I can even consider entrusting a candidate with one of my creations. And you are everything I desire. I'm honored that you regard me so highly, Lord Valens. However, in return for my continued cooperation, I wish to propose an extra condition to our agreement. I request that the people of Werlyt be given full Imperial citizenship and the right to self-govern. My, how very bold of you. And quite astute at that. Yes, I could grant the people of Werlyt citizenship if I so desired. Unfortunately, a mere legato such as myself is in no position to simply relinquish control of Imperial territory on a whim. Come now, we both know that the weapons are but a means to an end. Your true intent is to march on the capital and claim it for yourself, correct? Once you've taken the throne, one small territory would seem a fair reward for those who played a vital role in the ascension of Emperor Valens. I say, for someone so sweet and innocent, you certainly drive a hard bargain. Very well, if it's Werlyt you want, it's yours. I'll soon have no need of this stinky backwater province anyway. And what about my brother? Oh yes, Alwake, or was it Alfred? Whatever his name is, you needn't worry, I've made special arrangements for him. He'll be perfectly safe, provided you uphold your side of the agreement. Excellent. Now, let's get you aboard the diamond weapon, shall we? One step closer to my coronation. This is the moment I've been waiting for. I know this isn't what Father would have wanted, but it's the only way. Please forgive me. Initiating the synthetic aura sight system. All sensors activated. So far so good. Diamond weapon codename Xenos commencing activation sequence. Behold perfection itself. Melisandre, Recon, and Rex gave their lives. That others may live without fear. The oversight is taking hold. I'm just glad you didn't have to go through this, Alphonse. But you'll have to go on without me. You and Father still must work together to... I'm sorry I can't be there at your side. This is the only way. What's that, my dear? Is something the matter? The diamond weapon is mine. Your tyranny ends here, Valens. Lowborn filth, if you think your little performance had me fooled, you are sorely mistaken. What are you waiting for? Shut it down! Yes, my lord, transmitting the activation signal. Not responding. That insolent whelp had me worried for a moment. Bring her to me alive, even if it means damaging machine. When I'm through with her, she will beg for death. No, I can't end like this. Melisandre, Recon Rex, guide my hand. Alphonse, wherever you are, lend me your strength.
Combat sample ready. Initiating Overmind. Subject name.
Overmind? What is that? This can't be. It's ignored the shutting down signal and initiating Overmind. But how? I don't care how. Stop that thing before it brings down the whole castrum. So, not over soul, but over mind. I was unable to save Melisandre, Riken, and Rex. There may yet be hope for Allie and Alphonse. Ready to depart? I send for Master Garland. We all expected another weapon to appear sooner or later, but not quite like this. According to Valderin, after it finished laying waste to the headquarters of the 7th Legion, it took to the sky. Though this has dealt a massive blow to the Imperial forces, I'm certain that Allie is on board of the weapon. It must be halted before she comes to harm. For that, I need the G-Warrior and airships to transport it. I see that one thing hasn't changed since your days as the Black Wolf. Your penchant for gigantic war machina. But if this means the G-Warrior has another chance to shine, I'd be happy to oblige. Only this time, rather than having it unceremoniously towed by airships, I have a more dynamic entrance in mind. Good to see you again, Serenia. From what I hear, we have you to thank for Avelina's volunteering to help the ironworks. Since she joined the team, our work has come on leaps and bounds. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to finally put my knowledge and skills to good use. And as far as I can tell, your target is a diamond weapon, the most powerful of them all. What's worse, its design incorporates all the combat data and abilities of the other weapons, making it far more formidable than those you encountered before. Thankfully, we've had time to prepare for such an occasion. Would you care to elaborate? Let me put it like this. Thanks to Avelina's tireless dedication, the G-Warrior has been reborn. But there will be time to explain more on the way. Come on, the Enterprise is waiting. Very impressive, but may I ask what purpose it serves? Since our objective is to rescue the pilot, we added a means of capturing the diamond weapon. We come to save lives, not to end them, and for that reason the G-Warrior has been reborn. I present to you the G-Savior. And this will be the platform we fight on, I assume? You're off to save Melisandre's foster siblings, Alphonse and Allie, aren't you? Please, do whatever you can to bring them back safely. While you and Gaius deal with a diamond weapon, I'll be doing my best to aid Voldelin in safe return from Werlyt. Hopefully he's taking advantage of the chaos to make good his escape. The engineer will get us back, I assume. I'll be monitoring the situation from the Enterprise. Should things take a turn for the worse, I'll be ready to intervene. Once again, citizen engineers have provided precisely what we require before we even knew it ourselves. And due to the added complexity, we have Gaius pilot while Serenia handles the various armaments. Agreed. There will be little opportunity for us to grow accustomed to our roles, but even so, we must succeed at all cost. The Cloud Deck, now accessible.